A lot of people are starting to realize something. This isn't one of those situations that wraps up quickly. It's not a headline that fades next week or something that just works itself out over time. It's the kind of situation that lingers. And the longer it lingers, the more it starts to affect things far beyond where it started. Even if you're not directly involved, you're still feeling it.
Now he's talking about it ending. Just like I said yesterday, he's talking about it ending soon, very soon. We've accomplished everything. Oh my gosh. You talk about a complete 180 from yesterday. Oh, we're ground troops and yeah, I'm going to be the leader. Just complete nonsense from this man. And now lives have been lost. Futures have been damaged. For what? For what? Why are we going through all of this pain with this man? Oh my gosh, this was such a horrible experience, and I'm still amazed that some of you wanted to see this again. And here it is, just 1 year into this mess, and it's just everything's a disaster, and it's because of one man, just one. I hope you guys feel stupid because you should.
At first, a lot of people thought this would be temporary, something intense but short. But now, that expectation is changing, because when something continues without a clear resolution, it stops feeling like an event and starts feeling like a new normal. And that shift matters, because people don't just react to what's happening, they react to how long they believe it's going to last.
Why the is the United States deploying at least 1,000 troops from the 82nd Airborne Division to the Middle East? Didn't Felon 47 declare we won the war? So why the are we sending more troops? Let's talk about the biggest political deception of this presidency. Felon 47 stood on stages across this country and promised there would be no more endless wars. He promised America would stop being dragged into foreign conflicts. He promised there would be no new boots on the ground. Now look what's happening. Thousands of US troops being sent to the Middle East. Marine expeditionary units. Airborne rapid response forces. Warships and combat aircrafts positioned across the region. And Americans are being told this is not a war? Are you serious? No serious person believes that a massive troop deployment into a volatile conflict zone is routine diplomacy. You do not surge combat forces into one of the most volatile regions on Earth because you're planning a humanitarian book club. Congress has not approved a new war. There has been no declaration. There has been no clear authorization of a major conflict. The Constitution gives Congress the power to decide when this country goes to war. Not one president, not one administration acting alone. You either follow the Constitution or you're an un-American patriot and a traitor. This isn't Call of Duty. This is war. War is families shattered. War is lives permanently damaged. War is young Americans dying. When you didn't vote for Kamala, you voted for this. We warned you. But you chose to vote for a con man, and now you got conned.
You can see it in subtle ways. Energy prices fluctuating, supply chains adjusting, costs that don't quite settle back down. And even when things stabilize on the surface, there's still pressure underneath. Because uncertainty changes behavior. Businesses become more cautious. Spending becomes more calculated. Decisions get delayed. And that ripple effect, it reaches people who may not even follow what's happening closely.
Donald Trump is now offering Iran a 30-day ceasefire as he's going full taco on his demand for unconditional surrender. Now, this comes to us from Israeli media, who is saying that Donald Trump and the United States are offering a 15-point plan to end the war, and they'll allow 30 days to negotiate that, which means we're right back to where we started before the war at the negotiation table. Now, there's still no word whether or not Iran is going to accept, and there's word that Iran is actually worried that this is just a ploy from the United States to lure out the new leaders, and that might be possible. But the fact that we're now going to offer a 30-day ceasefire, if true, that means we're right back where we started, before we lost 13 service members, spent billions of dollars, ruined the economy, hit a school. All of those things happened so we could be right back where we started, and this 15-point plan reads almost the same as the deal that Obama had that Donald Trump ripped up. If this is what we get, if this is where we end up, Donald Trump will have made the worst move in presidential history. No surprise.
One of the biggest impacts isn't always what people can see, it's what they don't know. Not knowing how long something will last, not knowing what could escalate, not knowing what comes next. That kind of uncertainty creates tension because people start planning differently. They hold back, they prepare quietly, they start thinking more about stability than growth. And when enough people start thinking that way at the same time, it changes the overall atmosphere. Situations like this don't resolve quickly because they're not simple. There are layers, different interests, different strategies, different outcomes that people are trying to protect, and when multiple sides are deeply invested, resolution takes time, sometimes a lot of it. And while people wait for things to settle, life continues moving forward. But with that tension always in the background.
We have an official response from the new supreme leader of Iran with 3 specific demands at 30-day increments. Demand number 1 is a complete and total withdrawal of American forces from Iraq, Kuwait, Syria, Bahrain, Qatar, UAE, and Saudi Arabia within 30 days. How likely is that? Demand number 2, the U.S. must lift every sanction imposed on Iran since 1979, including all banking restrictions, oil export limitations, and all technological transfer information and products transfer bans within 60 days. The third demand is to pay reparations to Iran for economic warfare that cost Iran an estimated, in their estimation, $800 billion in lost revenue in the last 40 years. Now, what they expect is to be paid back $500 billion within 10 years. If these 3 actions are not met, Iran will take very, very specific retaliatory actions. The number 1 is they will completely close the Strait of Hormuz within that 30-day and on that 30-day deadline. Number 2, they will activate defenses and military partnerships with Russia and China, including foreign military bases on Iranian soil. The third thing they promise to do is to exercise its right under international law to develop and deploy full-spectrum nuclear deterrent capabilities. The key word is deploy. When they use the word like deploy in an official statement, it leads one to believe they already have some form of nuclear capability. Now, this is not from the production of their own nuclear capabilities, because as we know, Donald Trump completely erased and demolished them. No, this is from what has come from either Russia or China, who has said 100% they are backing them. As put in official statements less than 90 minutes after these demands from the new supreme leader, China media and Russia media both released statements saying they recognized Iran's sovereignty as a country and they are giving full military, unlimited support to Iran to defend itself if necessary. Now, that's pretty damn scary.
There's also this growing disconnect. On one side, you have headlines, updates, constant information. On the other, you have everyday people just trying to live their lives. And the two don't always feel connected until they are, because over time, what feels distant starts showing up in closer ways. Prices, availability, decisions that affect daily routines. And that's when it shifts from being something happening out there to something people actually feel. This isn't just about what's happening globally. It's about how it's shaping behavior here. People are becoming more aware, more cautious, more focused on what they can control. Because when something feels unpredictable, people adjust, even if they don't fully realize they're doing it. And over time, those small adjustments add up. So when people say, this isn't ending anytime soon, it's not about fear. It's about understanding the kind of situation this is. Something layered, something ongoing, something that doesn't just disappear overnight. And the real question becomes not just how it ends, but how people adapt while it continues. If you've noticed how things have been shifting, even in small ways, drop a comment, and share what you're seeing, because a lot of people are feeling this in different ways. And if you want more real conversations like this without the noise, make sure you like, subscribe, and stay tapped in, because we're going to keep breaking it down.